performances, but I like the paper too. It's hard to know stuff with you. So, people may keep coming in, so I'm going to leave that door cracked a little, but if the door slamming becomes, if the outer door becomes a distraction, I may sneak back there and slide that shut. I know sometimes someone has to leave a little early because they have work, or they have to pick up their kids, or they have another class that starts. So if you need to slide the door open and kind of slip out at some point, we understand that you guys have complicated lives. Danielle, or D. Period Colin. Do you say Colin or Colin? Colin. All right. Has participated in slam poetry, but if you go online and Google D. Colin Poet, the first hit you get is her performing a poem called "I Am Not a Slam Poet." So she's interested in both the political and louder and more dramatic world of the, shall we say, traditional slam poetry, but also in the quieter side and the spiritual side, and the sort of introspection that isn't necessarily present in the more outgoing kind of poetry that we think of as slam poetry. Competitive poetry, it's sort of like competitive yoga, I think it was like invented in the 80s, and wow, how did that get put together? But it was a wonderful thing to have happening in America, to see the rise of interest in poetry happening precisely because of performance poets, spoken word poets, people like D. Colin. She lives in the Troy area, and she runs an open mic there called, what's it called?
Poetic Vibe.
Poetic Vibe. I remember now that you tell me. And that's something that all of you can be thinking about. A time, a place, I can share just one poem. I don't have to get up and read, my entire life's work. I could share one or two pieces among other people who are doing the same, and become part of a community of poets. Or, as Danielle says in that I'm Not a Slam Poet poem, community, a way for people to really be together in this crazy world of ours. She's one of the 3 poets that was sent last year, I think, to represent, I don't know, represent like in regionals or something, but to compete at the national level as a slam poet from this region. And she has a book out this year called, and this I'm worried I'm not going to pronounce correctly, Dreaming in Creole? Okay, but it's spelled Kreyol. So it's not the way we're used to seeing Creole. And that is a word connecting back to a Haitian heritage. So you'll hear some of that in the poetry tonight. Whoa, it is dark out, Nancy, but today. And I hope you will very much enjoy the very lively presence of D. Colin. Thank you. If you don't want to, but it's handy.
I'm probably not.
Okay.
I just want to set my things down.
Yeah.
How is everyone?
Discombobulated.
Oh, discombobulated. I wasn't expecting that. All right, so my name is D. Colin. D is for Danielle. Colin is my middle name, passed down to me from my father, whose first name is Colin. And growing up, I hated my middle name, so I never told anybody what my middle name was because it's a boy's name. And in some roots of the name, it means boy. So I always avoided telling people that my name was Colin. But as an adult, I decided that I needed to, I came out of a horrible relationship, and I decided to love myself more. And part of loving myself was going natural and And the other part of loving myself was embracing the name that was passed down to me from my father. So that's why I call myself D. Colin. So there's the story behind that. I'm going to do some poems from the book, Dreaming in Creole, and then I'll do a few poems that are not in the book that hopefully will be in my next book, and then you can get that when it comes out. So, okay. So these are the first three pieces, and I'll just do them in a string, strung together. Seigneur parler, moi pour parler, tant qu'on y est qu'au voix ou même, qui t'aime chercher, même j'en crois, petit tout qui, perdu qui seul qui t'aime, Seigneur, pour me guider, pied mon qui prend mauvais chemin, bon manger pour capable nourrir, mon qui grand goût, acclamant nous qui t'aime, Seigneur, pour me guider, pied mon qui prend mauvais chemin, bon manger pour capable nourrir, mon qui grand goût, acclamant nous. I dream in a language that feels like home. The words come to mind when I can't find the right ones in English, this language I learned first. The cadence, the dance that sways with my tongue. Les moi parler Creole. When I speak Creole, I have the voice of Haiti in my throat, thirsting to tell stories that may never be translatable, but will always end with hope, and for that, they will always be worth telling. They cut the son's head off in Cité Soleil, Haiti. Poverty bleeds internally there. She lives in the city of the sun, 5 children, husband dead, murdered for supporting Titi. They beat her, they stalk her, they be at her house. She beat them by hiding. She lives in the city of the sun, where she married again. Married a man who raped her daughter, ripped her heart more, 6 children, new baby, no money. She lives in the city of the sun, where water floods her home. Wade in the water, her family waits in the water in the city of the sun, where it seldom shines. So turn the sun on its pregnant belly over the horizon, birthing femmes haïtiennes, Haitian women, mountain women. Demon, Semon, behind the mountains are more mountains. Demon, Semon, like a million hills rolling before the sun. These women carry resistance in their sweat. They walk in worn shoes, calloused feet. Dark skin glistens in the noon sun. Veins map their hands. River water pumps through Haiti's dried land as their stomachs empty, sagging breasts like eroded hillsides. The women carry water on their heads, water in their wombs, water off their floors. They are potomitan, center pillars holding a collapsed house while the sun breaks dawn like coconuts cracked open with machetes. These men back Teneb, beat back the dark, turn the sun on his pregnant belly over the horizon, birthing a new day. Laugh the women. We are still here, and we run the book. Neighborhood watchers beat water out clothes on rocks, write secret messages in the money, be at water when the sun goes into labor, and you will see her. Ana Guyana, Ana Guyana. Golden flower hangs in the sky. Taino Chi hanged for trying to negotiate peace with Columbus. These women rest in her story. Burning souls rest in her blazing sun. They cut the son's head off in Cité Soleil, Haiti. These women birth a new one every day. Mountain women, militant mountains. Seman, behind the mountains are more mountains. Seman, like a million hills rolling before the sun. These women carry Haiti in their sweat. Her face shone in the blazing Altibonite sun. Black skin, silky, blue-black, purple, coffee bean black with pearls for teeth. I stood perplexed by my 13-year-old mind framed around an alleged paradox. Black, blue, beautiful. The light grew bright over my head like the Haiti sun. Knew when I came back, if anyone called me ugly, if they mistook my dark for dreadful, they called me cockroach ever again, it was a bold lie. This skin and all the dark in it is mine and beautiful. Mauvais chemin, bon manger, capable nourrir, non qui gangou,
So I spell Creole with a K because in Creole, that's how we spell it. And Creole with a K is very specific to Haitian Creole because there's so many different Creoles. Basically any country that was colonized by the French has a sort of Creole. And then there's like a Louisiana type of Creole as well. So to distinguish Haitian Creole from the others, I spelled it with a K because that's how you spell it in Haitian Creole. So if you didn't know that, you learned something. Okay, so I'm going to read a poem about my grandmother and then a poem about my mom. This one is called Dear Anasia. My grandmother's name was Anasia. Did the blue walls miss your touch, grandmother, when you came to visit? Or was it you who missed this little house, crouched on the floor with a rag, your ghost as old as the doors, lined with peeling paint? I went to your grave, watched my weeping mother kneeling down on the soil, the only thing connecting 3 generations, this land you return to, never returning, lies underneath us all. I wonder if the chickens clucked your song. I wonder how you knew. We would sleep in that small room you used to call your own, on a bed knotted with lumps where you slept years ago. I wish I had been awakened by your steady hand, the sound of your body bent and scrubbing, like the sound of my mother's body bent and scrubbing. Was your favorite color blue like the walls? I had hoped my eyes could catch a glimpse of your ghost, the way my mother saw you drawing circles on the walls with your worn rag and tired hands. Hands I have no memory of, rubbing your daughter's pregnant belly, your soothing voice saying, "Moi papwe sakondam." I wonder about the 7th day of March. Was it as long as the 7 years of a barren womb when they buried you the day I was born? I wonder how you knew destiny would have us meet between life and death to celebrate and mourn. If there were a moment when our 2 worlds could meet just so we could speak, if there were an instance when we could hear each other's voices, I wonder what we would say. I wonder if you would tell me how it was to birth 12 children and only have 4 of them live long. If the emotion of loss weighed on you so much that you knew the importance of my survival, that maybe because you had lost so many, you knew what it was for my mother to lose 1 and wait 7 years to be pregnant with a dream. I wonder what words you shared, or prayers you prayed with me in your mind. I wonder how you knew you would never see me, gazing longingly at my mother's belly before flying to Haiti, telling her you would not know this baby. I never got in the habit of calling it coincidence.
you being buried the day I was born, like some spiritual exchange. I know it was something deeper. Your only girl expecting her only child, a girl who would know you in dreams and stories and eyelashes and the nose I see in mirrors. I would know you in the one picture, black and white, hidden in a suitcase, where I would sneak to see you, run my hand over the old frame, wishing you could talk back. I would know you on my birthday. I would know you through everyone who says your name, Anasia, when they see how much I've grown, when they say how much you would have spoiled me, and still my heart feels intently that you would have spoiled me with love. The moments like that of worlds colliding are just an aching wish. If it were to happen, I would talk to you like I've known you all my life, sit at your feet, ask you what God is like, let you play with my hair, listen to you laugh and share old proverbs. I will call you grandma out loud, the way I always have in my heart. I would ask you if your favorite color is blue. So I think my grandmother was like some kind of prophet. That's a story that's followed me my whole life, that she said she wouldn't know me. And my mom had a miscarriage, and she had 2 miscarriages after me. So I'm an only child, I'm a girl, miracle baby, there was no pressure. I'm first generation American, yeah, so there was no pressure growing up, right? But I've always felt close to my grandmother, even though I never got to meet her. This poem is called Cadeau, which is gift in French, and it's for my mom. The sun sets over a clear horizon, caressed by mountains, fading into the distance. The breeze moves like an angel skipping past Las Galvas to Sarrazin. Concrete is cool under her feet, a mouthful of sugarcane cut down with a machete. She laughs loud, and mosquitoes love me more than her. She's a native, come home from an absence she chose for my birth. We sit present in her present. The porch fills with cousins and family of family come to see if her face still the same. See her baby, not a baby no more. Speak her name. A mind full of daydreams pour out like water from sister rivers a mile away. We talk until constellations cover the sky. She grabs a coconut, hacks off the top, and drinks. Old habits never die. And this is where her smile lives free, in this peace, in this place, where her hands worked in fields instead of houses, watching things grow instead of washing them away. Although I've never had rhubarb pie, I could eat sweet plantains all day. Maybe I've never seen Vegas lights, but my eyes never get tired of midnight darkness on my grandfather's porch, lit only by the stars. Feels like magic, incredulous, like a dream chasing a dream. This gift my mother gave me without knowing, Aiti, in my spirit, glowing like a star. Okay, so I'm gonna leave Haiti for a second and come here. I have this poem that I wrote, and it's about the stereotype of black women being angry all the time. So the stereotype of the angry black woman. So this poem is for every black woman who's been called angry. Yeah, I hear the chuckles. Usually that happens because people are like, what's about to happen? I've been trying not to be an angry black woman. Make sure I smile a little in public. Seems like the understanding is that our facial expressions do not lend to other emotions, that the fear is we stay ready to start a commotion just because. Like there are no reasons to be black, a woman, and angry at the same time. So don't you know, on most days I turn my smile into a protest, but the rest is a crooked upwards battle. I've been trying to rise like Maya Angelou's dust. Every time there's some bitter, twisted lies. Been trying to be black girl magic without a spell to conjure over this hurt, this pain, this rolled up thunder pressed between my ears. I've been trying to sew invisibility cloaks to drape around my children for protection, only to find out they invisible already without protection. Been trying to tell my daughters to not be angry, that sass might get you sass, that kissing the pavement ain't better than going home. They will say, you have too much attitude. Refuse to see your smile pressing through from behind your teeth, the world on your shoulders like the mule you are. They will wonder how you made it anyhow, how somehow they haven't killed you yet, being angry and all. But ain't that the point? That Harriet Tubman had to be an angry black woman, that Sojourner Truth had to be an angry black woman, that Assata Shakur had to be an angry black woman, that Rosa Parks had to be an angry black woman, that Shirley Chisholm had to be an angry black woman, that Fannie Lou Hamer had to be an angry black woman, that Coretta Scott King had to be an angry black woman, that Betty Shabazz had to be an angry black woman. And ain't that the point? That I have every right to be angry? Angry about our trees cut down and the roots left there naked in the sun, about history being his story one too many times, about the corrections to my language when my tongue was already cut out, about gentrification, about discrimination, about appropriation of my body, my culture, my colloquialisms, about bullets spraying like a carnival game on victims with no weapons, about being called everything but my name, Mammy, Jezebel, Ratchet, bitch, about the prison industrial complex, about this reflection someone put in the mirror that ain't my own. I have every right to break this glass. This anger ain't yours to police, ain't yours to cage up like a bird, ain't yours is the point. I've been trying not to be an angry black woman. Truth is, I ain't trying no more. And you're gonna be glad one day. I said you're gonna be glad one day I was angry enough to change the world.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I have rights to my anger. That's all. So that's a poem that I usually like compete with, because I do compete in slam. And I say I'm not a slam poet because I just write poems, you know, and then I go compete, you know. So I compete in a slam, right? And I don't really like assign myself this category of I'm only doing this one thing. I'm also an academic too, so I explore so many different types of poems, and I feel it's about the writing, and that genre is fluid, and that sometimes we pick a genre and then we just kind of stick to the rules of that one thing. But I think poets can learn from fiction writers, can learn from memoirists, and just so many different ways to make writing fresh and new, and even just the reading of it. Sometimes poets who compete in slams sound very similar. It has nothing to do with style, it has everything to do with trying to squeeze all of the words into 3 minutes. so it's really about what story you're telling, and that's really what I find the most important is the story. So, okay, I have a vulnerable piece, and I had my heart set on doing it because I think it's super relevant right now. Women are telling their stories, and women need to keep telling their stories, and we need to believe them. And that's that. That's all I have to say about that. So this poem is called Broke, Just Like That, after Patrick Rosoff, Broke Heart, Just Like That. Nina Simone sings, "The rock cried out, I ain't gonna hide you. And alone in my room, I search for the rock so we can talk about protection, because on that day, I realized the rock might not be on my side, and that I haven't learned to run from sinner men, that I think their sins contagious, common like colds, like aching fingers that lost their dance, like tongues on ice holding on 2 languages instead of 3, and I wonder if that makes the Trinity less holy, to be a sliver of moon, light sonata heavy on keys that no longer open doors or see sharp, and just like that I need glasses for everything but my eyes, to know my body and where it hurts, like how my mouth don't fit round that no more, like how I be flat on my back painting notes on ceilings with my eyes shut and throat raspy in search of the right pitch for no, but all I can hiss in a prayer is, what's the matter with you, rock? Don't you know that I need you? And now I am a metronome, wandering for a song, like a river lost at sea, I am bleeding, there is no more staccato. And just like that, it occurs to me why I quit piano, why I am listening to one waning echo of a pedal, and my foot left here, tapping nothing but the floor. That's a tough one. Okay. I didn't think about how I was going to transition from that poem. Okay. So, okay. I talk to things in my head too that tell me to do this poem. Okay. So, I ride the bus a lot, and this poem is, well, I don't have a car, so I ride the bus every day, is what I should say. So this poem is about a woman that I used to see on my way to work, who stood on the corner of Washington and Swan. It's called On the Corner of Washington and Swan. And I don't know if you've been to Albany, but I'll paint the corner for you. Okay? All right. She looks like she used to dance with jazz musicians. Bessie Smith singing, "Nobody knows when you're down and out." She holds her brow steady, shoulders back like a dancer, dancing in her mind to the songs of struggle and life. She inhales to prep for the question, holds her breath for the answer, exhales to keep from dying because she's met with so much silence. All she hears is her own voice, bouncing off the noise that surrounds her. Surround sound, silencing her. She stands on the corner of Washington and Swan, on the corner right behind the Capitol building where government don't see her, where vendors sell hot dogs and relish, and the hot sun reminds her what hell is. She's been standing like homelessness never breaks her spirit. Truth is, she's been waiting for change, not the kind that wrinkles, not the kind that jingles. Truth is, she's been waiting for change, wanting to be something, expected to be nothing, realizing the ones who are something aren't sharing the wealth, no knowledge to spare, like these $20 bills folded in their pockets that aren't forgiving. People walk right past them, go on living. She stands on the corner of Washington and Swan, where her clock is ticking to the sounds of heels clacking the sidewalks, fresh suit tails wagging in the breeze. They rock slacks and sneakers on their lunch breaks to Dunkin' Donuts for the iced coffees, walk right past her to the vendors for their french fries and icy. Seems like nobody sees from her eyes. She stands on the corner of Washington and Swan where the buses stop, where people carrying bus fare wish they could share what they don't have because they know what lessness is. So close to it they could taste it as she swallows the gratefulness in them, that they're not in her shoes, but her melodic voice continues. She's singing the blues. She's singing the blues. She's singing the blues to the jazz of car horns, jingling keys, the drum of her heartbeat, and one last chord that keeps her unashamed to survive. Have any change? How y'all feeling? Y'all feeling right? Okay. Usually I check on the audience, make sure everything's good. So I mentioned my hair earlier. I have a poem about my hair. I started relaxing my hair when I was 13, and relaxing means that you just straighten your hair with chemicals. And that was because I thought my hair was, well, all the girls in my class had straight hair, so I was the only one with this. And I did not think this was pretty because I I wasn't presented with enough images to tell me that that was pretty. So here we go. When my hair was relaxed, the only two questions asked were, is it real? And what do you use? Now that I've transitioned from straight hair to my natural self, it's like people have hypertension, share all sorts of comments and questions, like how long does that take you? And then there's my pet peeve. Can I touch it? As if I'm some type of exotic pet. Go find a poodle. Or comments like, you know Easter Sunday is coming up, what are you gonna do with that? This one is usually accompanied by a look of concern. Or why didn't you comb your hair today? Oh, it's combed, but you can't run the comb through. Oh, you can? But how do you get it this soft? Wait, it's soft. All of these are usually accompanied by a look of confusion, and the list goes on. Like, are you ever gonna straighten that? I mean, you're gonna straighten that for your wedding, right? What about graduation? I mean, come on, how do you expect to get a man a job? You don't think you look like an old lady? Whoa. Speechless with raised eyebrows. And this one, did you stick your finger in an electrical socket this morning? No, but I know who I can stick in an electrical socket. Or, are you Jamaican? Again, speechless. There are 2-strand twists, not locks, and then not all Jamaicans have locks. So why don't you just get locks? I see this as a pointless conversation. Doesn't matter if my hair is out, 2-strand twist, braided on the side, fro hawk in the middle, or wash and go. If it's not straight, some people just don't understand. Makes me want to have discussions on the effects of colonialism on the minds, the brainwashing of the media, the overwhelming abundance of images showing black women with long, flowy hair, when we really know the truth. When we know, even with a relaxer, our hair blows in the wind only on the day we leave the salon, and then it's all whole. Makes me want to have arguments like, if a man only wants me because I have straight hair, maybe he shouldn't have me at all. And if a job won't hire me, maybe I need to hire myself. And if you can't handle looking at my hair on Easter Sunday, maybe you should question why it is you go to church. Besides the fact that this thing on my head you refer to as that is just the way it grows. Just saying. Yeah, I don't know that I'll ever straighten my hair after writing this poem. When I went natural, I had so many reactions. Oh my God, you cut your hair. Oh my God, like, what is this? What are you doing? Are you okay? Like, it was so much. But I'm really proud of my hair now, and I think my hair is beautiful. I even have it on the cover of my book. So. I should have been drinking water a long time ago. So I'm gonna do a couple more, and then I'll take questions. So I'll take you back to Haiti. Cool. Anytime I perform someplace for the first time, I do this poem. It's a poem that I wrote right after the earthquake that happened in 2010. And I do it because disasters happen in so many different places in the world, and then we hear about it in the news, and then we don't. And then the people who are affected by those disasters are still dealing with the aftermath of the disaster. So I went to Haiti 6 months after the earthquake to bury my grandfather. And it was 6 months after the earthquake, but it looked like the earthquake happened the day before I landed. And then I returned to Haiti 4 years later, and there were still people living in tents, but it was nowhere in the news. And now, our current administration is ending temporary protected status for Haitians who were affected by the earthquake, and they have to go back to Haiti next year. July 2019 is the deadline for that. But they're going back to Haiti with no home to go back to. So they're still dealing with all of this. even been an adult in Haiti. So that's a whole other type of adjustment. So this poem is called Up Ahead We'll See. And I tend to sing a lot. I wish you could hear me singing in the book, but there's YouTube. But yes, it's called Up Ahead We'll See. Peter Ball, not well. Peter Ball, not called one Pookie. Peter Ball, not well. Peter Ball, not called one Pookie. Up ahead we'll see. Up ahead we'll understand why. Up ahead we'll see. Up ahead we'll understand why. Our eyes rise to the skies, and like the dry months, no replies rain down, except the tears from our eyes. Tonight we see the stars, and they are our only company. And for those of us who cannot see from beneath debris, hear the men, women, children scream, "Ombre! Quelle pitié, have mercy," and we wait, we wait, we wait, we wait, we wait for another day. We wait for our hungry stomachs to survive. We wait for our hungry stomachs to survive. That's why I have a book. Another day of waiting, for our tongues to taste more than our spits, for our lungs to breathe the air again, though stench with the decay of rotting bodies. Our eyes long to see the living pulled out from the rubble and walking among us again. We don't sleep. We wait for the earth to shake again and again and again. So many times we all rest outside under a star-studded sky. It has become our blanket. It has become our roof. It has become our truth of newfound possibilities as we walk the streets of Kafu and Leogan and Port-au-Prince confused. The palace has become a center for aid. We wait to see what real changes this earthquake has made will make. The Catedral, Palais National are gone, but we remain strong. Our businesses, our hospitals, our schools, our homes have crumbled, but we still dig through the rubble. We still dig. We are still here, and we are still strong. At night, we fill the air with song. The earth cannot shake our hope. Our hope lives inside us, and we will survive this despite all questions. Why? Our answer is, up ahead we'll see. Up ahead we'll understand why. Up ahead we'll see. Up ahead we'll understand. At night we fill the air with song. Our hope remains unshaken. At night, we fill the air with song. Our hope is still alive. That's why we sing. Peter Van Awe, Peter Van Awe, Pookie, Peter Van Awe, Peter Van Awe, Pookie, up ahead we'll see. Up ahead we'll understand why. Up ahead we'll see. Up ahead we'll understand. Peter Van Awe, Peter Van Awe, Peter Van Awe, one Pookie, Peter Van Awe, Peter Van Awe, Peter Van Awe, one Pookie, Peter Van Awe, Peter Van Awe, Peter Van Awe, one Pookie. Up ahead we'll see. Up ahead we'll understand why. Up ahead we'll understand why. Thank you. All right, one more. And then questions. has a last name. Like, that's the only thing they could ever say about Haiti. Like, that's the summation of Haiti's history, is that they're poor, right? So I decided to write this poem. And then some more things were said recently, so I've added some things, but they're not in here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that I want to edit my book to even include it, but I'll include it in the performance of the poem, okay? We are beyond it. They say we run in hills barefoot with dust in our hair. We are beyond it. They say we are the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere. We are beyond it. They say we made a pact with the devil, that we threw hexes with voodoo to overthrow colonial gurus. But who knew? We have more people going to church than Tuuga and Lugau's, and so what? We still dance and sway our hips to the music of mountains where our ancestors hid plotting when we were slaves, when we were rebels, when we were revolutionaries, revolutionizing revolution until we were free. We revolted. We signed no papers. We took their papers. We made new papers. We negotiated with no one, claimed our independence 1804 because we were people. We were people with dreams. We had lost our fathers. We had lost our mothers. We had lost our lands. We had lost ours. We were angry. We were hopeful. We were determined. We were black. We were black blue. We were the people, Negroes, La Belle des Antilles. We were the richest colony in the world. Sugarcane, cotton, cocoa, tobacco, and indigo, Haiti. Land of mountains in the Arawak language. Despite poverty's winds, we stand like mountains. Despite terror's rain, we stand like mountains. Despite the drought of debt, the flood of false promises only redefine our sides. We don't move for the convenience of others. We are mountains. We stood like we stood aside Americans in the American Revolution, fighting for their freedom while we were still slaves. We stand like Boukman, like Toussaint, like Christophe, like Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Emperor King. We stand like why we let black Americans emigrate to Haiti before ethnicity, before island rivalry, before when just being black was a thing to be, because we were one. We are African, period. They say we're not American, but the American city Chicago was founded by a Haitian, Jean-Baptiste Pointe-Sable. They say we live in hell. We live on earth. In Altibonite, Gonaïves, Port-au-Prince, Jacmel, Brooklyn, Boston, Miami, France, Montreal, the world. They say our literacy rate is high. We are beyond it. We have become linguists. We speak French, Creole, Spanish, and English. They say, why do we have all these immigrants from shithole countries come here? Well, we are the shit. We have become presidents. We were always the shit. We have become presidents, prime ministers, doctors, lawyers, RNs, LPNs, teachers, poets. We were enslaved, we were taken, but we have become Haiti, the second oldest republic in the Western Hemisphere after the United States, the oldest black republic in the world. For our sons, for our daughters, for our freedom, we may die beautiful. And it doesn't matter now what they say. They say we are the poorest nation in the Western Hemisphere. I say we are beyond it. Dry. My mouth is dry. And Haiti's not a shithole country.
Just saying.
Just saying, yeah. All right, so if anybody has questions, I'm happy to.
Well, number one, I want to say that the poem about your grandmother really resonated with me because my German grandfather died a couple months before I was born, and I never got to know him. And my mother and her siblings didn't have contact with him in the last years because of some fallout from the past. And so I often wonder too, like, if what you thought about me, that kind of stuff. And number two, I wanted to ask, like, how close is like Haitian Creole to like French?
Okay, so it's close and it's not close. I say that because people who speak French fluently have a hard time understanding Creole when Haitians are speaking Creole. Haitians, on the other hand, when people are speaking French, can understand what they're saying. So it doesn't go both ways. Part of that is because Creole, in a lot of ways, is its own language that is not like a offshoot dialect of French, but that it carries with it African roots. So the verbs are switched hard for the person who knows French fluently to really understand Creole. And sometimes to make it simple for people, I've done like an analogy of like English to patois is French to Creole. Because I think in a lot of ways that those of us who speak English don't always understand patois. But those who speak patois understand English perfectly fine, right? So that makes patois in a lot of ways its own language in itself.
I had wanted to ask you about that line, I think in your first poem about taínos. I just found out recently I got taíno blood. It was believed that the Europeans wiped us out. I was wondering like where were they in Haiti also? Yeah, I knew they were like Puerto Rico and South America, but I didn't know if you were all over the Caribbean.
No, Columbus met the Taínos first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
on
a
the
lot
island of
people don't realize.
Hispaniola, and so they were Taínos, and they weren't extinct by the time Africans were being imported, but their population was diminished significantly. So there were still some of them left, but they had died, and they were killed. It was a genocidal thing that happened on the island. So.
It was pretty surprising when I found out. Like, I did the ancestry thing,
Okay.
That, and I saw that, and I listened to your poem, and I was like, oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Oh, all at the same time. Okay, so we'll go like this. Yeah.
Well, first, I think you're amazing.
Thank you.
Also, I had a question about, you mentioned like how you came up with what you go by decal.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the start of your poetry career, or have you been writing before that? Was it like the relationship that?
I wouldn't say that's the start. I wrote my first poem when I was 11, and I kind of fell in love. So I always had a notebook and a pen, and I was always writing, even if it wasn't always poetry. But poetry was the first taste I had of what freedom could sound like or look like on the page. So I didn't stop writing after 11 years old. I started performing in the church, probably as a teenager, like around 16. And then I majored in English in college, and then there was a club on campus that I was the secretary for. Yes, college was a long time ago. And we threw slams on campus. So that was my first experience with slam, and that was hard because it was very male dominated, and I could never make it to the second round, and so I started like experimenting with what my voice could sound like. So that might be the beginning. But I think D. Colin was that's the beginning of me pursuing poetry as more than something that I do on the side or that I teach. There was a seed planted in me that I wanted to be a full-time artist. I didn't know how that would happen, how to make that work, but from that point to now, that's been the pursuit.
As a writer, do you find that you are more productive having a schedule when you sit down to write, or does it just like randomly come to you and you have to just like jot it down at the end?
I create schedules. They sound nice. They don't always work that way. I always have paper and pen, and every once in a blue moon I'll use my phone, but that's just not the same thing as like paper and pen. Like I love the feel of paper, and I'm a sucker for a good journal, So I always carry paper and pen because I think inspiration is all around us. There's a quote, and I don't remember who said the quote, but it was something like poetry is everywhere, it just needs editing. Google that and see said it. But yeah, I believe that's true. When I ride the bus, sometimes I'll hear a conversation and I'm like, wow, okay, and I start writing, right? Or I might, I came in here and I was looking around at the artwork, and some of it conjures some thought. That might turn into a poem, right? So anything can be a poem. It's just about you opening your eyes and paying attention.
First, I want to thank you for coming here and sharing your work with us. And second, your poem about angering Black women, you mentioned a couple names like Harriet Tubman and Rosa Parks. Did they in any ways inspire your work?
Absolutely. I said a little earlier that I didn't have enough images of women with natural hair to let me know that it was okay for me to have my hair like this. I think throughout my life I've been searching for history that looked like me. I was searching for Black women that I could latch onto their stories and pull from, particularly because it wasn't always taught in my classroom, and I wanted to see myself in the stories that I read. So learning about Harriet Tubman or Sojourner Truth or Rosa Parks or Assata Shakur or Fannie Lou Hamer or Shirley Chisholm, those are all the women that I named in the poem, or even Betty Shabazz, tells me a lot about how different Black women can be, and also how much solidarity we can have in pursuing the things that we need to pursue in life to exist, just to exist as Black women and be free, that in that space, right, in that skin. So those stories have really inspired me and impacted me. I also have a degree in Africana studies, so I've always gone searching for Blackness and what that means so that I can define it for myself. And then I think you raised your hand in the back? Yes.
So, I grew up in a household that came over from Europe, so it was like there was a lot of French being spoken, and so kicking back to the Creole, then like I never understood how to speak it, but like hearing it, I could understand like most of the words that you were saying.
Okay.
And it definitely, it's strange that like I don't know how to speak it, but I can still hear it, and I can still understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll be able to catch things.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I've had people who speak only French who hear me or members of my family speak Creole, and they'll ask questions like, "Oh, where are you from?" Because
Yeah.
they hear the familiarity. Yeah.
Then I have a question about what do you mean exactly by blue black? Because I've heard you say that a few times, and I don't exactly know.
Say that again.
Blue black.
Oh, okay. So when I say blue black, that means, okay, so for the first time that I went to Haiti, I was 13. Well, I was actually a baby the first time I went to Haiti. So the first time I could remember, I was 13, and my father is from a province in Haiti called Altibonite. And so that's why that poem is called Altibonite Woman. And I met this woman in the town where my father grew up, and she was so dark that in the sun, her skin looks blue. So when I say blue-black, I mean so dark that you have blue and purple hues in your skin.
So that's like,
Yeah. And she was gorgeous. And so my mind was like, wait, this doesn't make sense. Because I hadn't, at 13, I spent all of 5th grade being called cockroach. So, I hadn't attached beautiful and my skin together. Like that wasn't something I put in the same sentence. So for me to experience that and for me to have that type of reaction to her, like, wow, I think she's gorgeous, right? And so if I think she's gorgeous, then she must be, right? So this has to, so it was like, no, this makes sense. And if she's gorgeous, then you are too. So all of those things. But back here, and then we'll come here.
First of all, James Tate said your quote. I did Google
Thank
that.
you.
And do you ever, in English we read a little article about this poet who wrote her poems in Spanish because like it connected her to her culture more after moving to the United States. And I was curious as if like, do you ever write anything in Creole first and then decide maybe to not translate it because you like it better in your language, or do you write everything in English?
I write mostly in English because I live in the United States. And there's this thing called readership. And I want people to be able to read and understand. However, when I perform, there are things I don't translate. Like I didn't translate the song that I sang. And there are lines in the poems that you'll understand anyway from context. And so people aren't ever really missing anything. But I don't feel that people who are bilingual or trilingual or speak more than one language are obligated to translate for the audience.
Right.
I think that's part of the reader's homework, is that if you really want to understand, then you look it up. But it does feel like home when I speak Creole. When I'm in Haiti, I don't dream in English at all. That's why the title of the book is Dreaming in Creole. I literally dream in Creole. And Creole was my first language. So I learned English when I went to school. But at home, we only spoke Creole. So home and Creole are like the same thing for me, you know? I'm currently translating a poet into English, and that's been an interesting thing too, because some things are just not, they don't sound the same in English as they do in Creole, you know? And it takes a different type of explanation for you to really get the spirit of the word or the phrase that's being used. But yeah, I go with what feels right at the time. So where was I? Here, and then
I've got two really good questions, but I think I'll stick with the first one. So this, I'm kind of asking this for my students who, they're saying as we're working on poetry, I don't like poetry, I don't know what poetry is, I can't write poetry. So when you are walking around, you get inspiration, you write down your notes, at what point do you know it's a poem? Like how, so I guess the question is kind of like, what is a poem for, and how do you know when you arrive there as a writer?
Part of the poem is craft. So knowing your stuff, that's part of it, because it helps you to tell the story with intention, as opposed to just writing down what you feel. But understanding the craft and understanding all the elements that you can use in order to tell the story help you to tell it more intentionally. You know, like when I say ain't, I say it on purpose. So I'm not just writing certain things just to write them, but I'm being strategic in my word choice and what I want to say. So craft for me is really important because it allows me to break rules, and it allows me to tell my story in the voice that I want it to be in, more intentionally. But then the most important part for me, though, that makes it the poem is when you capture the spirit of the moment. And that, I feel, sometimes is a hard thing to do because we don't always live in the present. We're so distracted by so many things. But poetry has a way of capturing a moment and placing someone there in spirit that you get a sense of the nuance of emotion that's happening within the story of the poem. And when you can do that and people can feel what you felt, then that for me is the poem. But that's preceded by knowing the craft in order to get to that point, right? Maya Angelou said something, I'm not gonna say it exactly like Maya Angelou, but she said something like, people might not remember your words, but they'll remember how you made them feel, right? So I think that capture the feeling there that connects to something else. So there's like a nuance, a spiritual nuance that's captured in the language. Okay.
Okay, so you said you take pride in being a storyteller, and they're all wonderful. So when you sit down to write a poem, are you more focused on the emotion of the poem evokes or the story itself?
I don't know that I've ever separated the two. Maybe I focus more on the feeling that helps me tell the story, as opposed to focusing on the story, on telling the story, and then thinking about the emotion. I think the emotion, in a lot of ways, can lead the way in telling the story.
Lucas, did you reflect that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, she mentioned writing poems in what's the language called again?
Creole.
Creole. Well, have you ever actually like read your poems down in Haiti at all?
I haven't. That's a dream. But I'd love to. But I have not done that.
Yeah, my next question was.
I have read my poems in front of almost 100% Haitian audiences. University of Rhode Island has a very large Haitian population, and there was like 200 people in the room, and most of them were Haitian. So the response in the room was electric because they understood so many different things. And then Haitian churches have heard some of my poems, that kind of thing. But I haven't done it in Haiti, so that would be nice.
Who are some of your favorite poets?
My favorite poets. Well, I mentioned Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou was probably the first poet that I fell in love with growing up. And I love June Jordan. And June Jordan has like just so much work. Like there's just so much, just poems, there's essays, there's just so much to dive into. I really love June Jordan. And I'm a fan of Isaki Shani. She just says what she wants to say, and she's very unapologetic about what she wants to say. And she's, I don't know if you've ever seen her read in person, but she's very she's very straightforward and conversational in the way that she reads her poems. So I think it's just really refreshing. As far as like performance poets, Saul Williams is a favorite of mine. I really like Mahogany Brown. You should follow her on Twitter. But yeah, I like Mahogany Brown. That's just a favorite, I guess. As far as authors though, my favorite author is Edwidge Danticat. She writes fiction. Please check out her work. If you haven't checked out her work, I have like all her books. She's amazing.
Or take my cats next semester.
Yes, or take a, yes, that's even, like, yes. But I love Edwidge Danticat. She writes fiction, but it's very poetic. It's very, very poetic.
I have a question about how do you commit your poems? What is your process of getting ready to perform a poem?
So today I was like, man, I should have practiced a little bit more before I came here, but that doesn't always happen. Memorization is, I don't always memorize all my poems. Sometimes I read them, like I read the vulnerable piece, and every time I read it, I commit a little bit more to memory. Sometimes I'm memorizing while I'm writing, because I'll write a few lines and then I'll read the lines that I wrote, and then I'll add some more, and then I go back to the top and now I'm reading that part that I wrote again, So there's that. I also record myself on my phone and put my headphones in and listen to myself. So that's helpful, especially if I am getting ready for a competition. Going up with paper, it shouldn't, but unfortunately it affects your score because judges are like, oh, you don't have it memorized like all the other poets who have their poems memorized. You see what I'm saying? So, and it also, no paper gives you freedom to do different things, you know, that you can't really do if you have paper in your hand. So, and I like to move, and I'm a big movement person, you know, like, I like to move my arms and things. So, normally I don't like holding a mic or holding a paper. So memorization is important to me in order for me to be able to just have that kind of freedom.
But do you like decide, okay, I'm gonna turn right here, or do you just kinda let the spirit move you when it comes out differently?
Oh yeah, I definitely let the spirit move me. I'm big on it doesn't have to sound the same every single time. I did the Haitian woman poem. I did it for a class of students one time, and they had my book in their hand, okay, and they're reading the poem that I'm performing while I'm performing the poem. So at the end of the poem, hand shoots up. You missed a part, and you switched these two lines. And I said, sometimes it happens that way. You are meant to hear it the way that it came out this time, and I'm okay with that. But even like the shithole line in We Are Beyond It, I've done that. I've done it slightly different before, but I know part of it is because I'm so angry about the line that it's always gonna come out however it comes out, and I'm okay with that too. Because it's really about like being present and letting things be the way that they are, and people receive what they're going to receive in the time that they're going to receive it because they're meant to receive it that way. I'm a believer in that. So. Yeah.
Identity is such a core part of the thematic repertoire, and you know, we're in a college where the majority of our students are white, and just starting to appreciate diversity. What would you tell our student poets about the role that identity might play in their own work?
Go explore the world. That's like my only advice. Really explore the world. I think that when we don't do that, then we're limited to what we've been exposed to, and sometimes that's not enough to really understand the world that you live in. And also, in writing about identity, I think a lot of storytelling is about empathy and being able to understand what it means to be in someone else's shoes, without appropriating that person's identity at the same time. So all balancing that is really important. But when you explore the world and when you're open to meeting people, because they're people, then you're opening yourself up to all kinds of artistic possibilities. Or just human possibilities, not even just art. Is that all the questions? Asked all the questions. Thank you so much for having me.